The LaMetric TIME Wi-Fi enabled clock is a multi-purpose gadget with features that will be super useful for content creators. If you've ever wanted a stylish and unusual device that enables you to quickly check and keep up to date with the most important information in your digital life, the LaMetric TIME is the gadget for you. The device has some out-of-the-box features for general use that would be useful for anyone. There's a clock face to tell the time, an alarm clock, a timer, and a radio app. It could happily sit on your bedside dresser as a more techie alternative to an alarm clock. However, where the LaMetric TIME really comes into its own is the library of apps that convert the device into a live ticker or tracker for different types of data. Better still, if you have programming skills, you can add your own creations too. The device is relatively small with a soft plastic finish. The main display achieves its pixel art aesthetic with a 37:8 oversized pixel display, split into colour and white sections. The colour pixels form an 8:8 group on the far left of the display, where the specific app icons appear. The other 29:8 section features white pixels for messages and data. On one end you'll find the volume controls, and on the other you'll find the power button. On top are the main controls that enable you to cycle through the installed apps. It has to be connected to a power supply to operate, but that makes sense because the device is always on and it's really not battery friendly. Setup is relatively straightforward, but not without some issues. You'll need to download the app from the Google Play or Apple App Store, which is also needed for installing and controlling the display. Like other similar devices, you'll be asked to connect to it via your phone's Wi-Fi receiver, and then it'll use your link as a bridge to transfer your Wi-Fi credentials to connect with your home or office network. However, one issue I personally experienced was that I was unable to successfully connect to my Wi-Fi network until I realised I had to turn off my phone's data connection first. Unfortunately, there aren't any troubleshooting tips on LaMetric support pages to help with this, but it was only because I've run into the issue before with smart plugs that I knew how to fix it. I've submitted this to LaMetric's community forum and hope that it proves helpful for anyone else experiencing similar issues. As mentioned, the main feature on this device is the ability to download and install different apps to display data. You can browse the available apps in the LaMetric market and search by category, including popular and latest editions. In the default mode, the LaMetric TIME will update the display based on the last update from your connected apps and services, but will revert back to your priority app. However, at the bottom of the app interface, you can also control whether you manually scroll through the apps with the physical on-device buttons, set it to be locked to one app, scroll between the various apps you have installed, or even display apps on a schedule. For this last option, scheduling could prove useful to owners who only want to show daily agenda items during work hours, but a clock the rest of the time. Or another potential use case could be displaying stock prices while the market is open before reverting back to your phone notifications for the rest of the time. If you're a business owner, you can even sync commerce data from your Google Analytics, displaying your sales information. Reordering and removing apps is as simple as long pressing on an app and then dragging it around the screen. My own personal setup includes my YouTube and social media metrics, weather, and stocks I'm interested in, plus my daily agenda connected to my Google Calendar. Connecting your social media accounts is handled differently by different sources. YouTube scrapes the subscriber data from your publicly available information, so all you have to do is identify your channel name in the settings. For Facebook and Instagram, you have to run through a login process using your credentials and a security code. For social media accounts, you have some options to customize the display. For instance, you can set the device to show exact numbers of followers or round them up to the thousands, if you happen to have a lot of fans. You can also choose whether you want your account or channel name to be displayed. While it's fun to see your channel name the first few times, after a while you might be like me and opt to switch it off. The functionality would probably be more useful as a point of sale display or for businesses where repetition is more powerful. One really nice feature is the adaptive brightness, which is great for reducing light in your room at night, especially if you're using it as an alarm clock. The first option is simply to set the screensaver mode to activate when it's dark. You can choose whether it displays a clock or shows a blank display. The second option is to schedule the screensaver to a preferred set of times that is convenient for you. The LaMetric TIME can be used with both Google Assistant and Amazon Echo. For Google Assistant, LaMetric uses an assistant app to communicate with the device. I've personally found third-party assistant apps to be a little onerous to use in general. The LaMetric app is no exception, especially when it comes to displaying your apps. If you don't use the exact name, sadly the assistant is unable to help. Show me like counter.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Unlike a native Google Assistant solution that would extrapolate your request from related terms and words, you have to use specific keywords for the LaMetric Assistant app to do your bidding. And sometimes the app simply doesn't want to work at all, slinking away into the depths of the internet, ignoring your commands. Show me subscriber counter. Hidden away in the depths of the menu is a function called LaMetric SMILE. This is an additional app with a super simple application where you can connect to your LaMetric TIME and send short messages with an icon. You can choose from the exhaustive library, or you can create your own icons. With a little bit of research on Google, you can find a wealth of pixel art examples you can copy if you're not already artistically minded. The simple premise behind the LaMetric SMILE is that you can send messages to your device remotely. The LaMetric TIME also features radio functionality and the ability to stream music via Bluetooth. The quality of the audio output is just okay. It works for situations where you're close to the speaker and listening to spoken word broadcasts. The speaker really isn't suitable for audiophiles when it comes to music playback. There are a couple of things worth highlighting, as it hasn't been plain sailing for me. The setup for Facebook is a little finicky. Despite the natural assumption you can use your phone's browser to complete your login, the only way I was able to connect my LaMetric TIME was on a desktop web browser. This might not affect everyone, but if you're running into issues, I recommend using a computer. Unfortunately, YouTube Music isn't supported as an app for music playback via Bluetooth on my Pixel 6 Pro. Despite being connected, the audio won't play through the speaker. However, all is not lost. You can still use Spotify, which has no issues once logged in. Another minor annoyance is the fact you can only duplicate the stock app 5 times. That means you'll need to pick your 5 favourite stocks, so if you have a larger portfolio, you're out of luck. Overall, I'm left with the impression that the LaMetric TIME is a fun but ultimately luxury purchase. The price seems a little steep, but it's necessary to see past the basic functionality and see how the device can fit into your overall connected home or office to justify the cost. Where the LaMetric TIME comes into its own is if you're looking for a way to avoid being tethered to your phone or your computer to check for updates. In terms of design, the pixel art display is a fun and attractive way to surface continually updated data. It looks cool, and it's certainly a conversation starter. Its form and design is perfect for integrating into almost any aesthetic, being nondescript enough that you barely notice the actual box itself after a while. If you're the type of tech enthusiast who has some disposable income and looking for another gadget, then this device would be for you, especially if you're a content creator. Then I'd recommend picking one up. Other potential buyers might want to spend a little bit more time considering how they'll use it before dropping the cash. Thank you for watching, and as ever, it would be great if you were to like the video and subscribe to my channel for more content on personal technology and the connected home.